I cannot believe the transformation in the garden in just a few weeks. Not only is the flower bed looking absolutely spectacular, the scent coming from the different flowers is absolutely beautiful, and the vegetables are all coming on a treat too. So come on, let's go and have a look around and see how much things have changed since I last showed you around the plot. So if we just start here at the flower bed, I'm surrounded by the Californian poppies, the sweet william, the calendula, the lupins. At the front I've just put some bedding plants in, so there's some nicotania, which I absolutely love. There's some poppies. I have actually bought a clematis, which is climbing beautifully up this obelisk, and the sweet peas are starting to come at the bottom, as well as some of the nasturtium, and we've got sweet peas just starting to look like they're going to climb. I've put a little bit of string to help them on the other obelisks. So I'm hoping by the time I show you round next, they should be looking spectacular. And just at the corner of the flower bed here, over here is the Rudbeckia, which has come back beautifully, and I'm really looking forward to when that puts on a show. And here I've got some cosmos in a pot, and I've actually got a tub of leek here, but I've decided to let them flower because I think they're going to look delightful. The overwintered onions are looking fabulous, and they're getting really close. I think I'll be harvesting them probably within the week, and in amongst them are the Californian poppies. And here are my brassicas. So under the hooped netting we've got the Cavolo Nero at this end. I've got sprouts, and they're the Groninger. I've got purple sprouting broccoli. I've got the Romanesco and the Kalettes, and they're all looking really healthy. And in this netted bed I've got more of the brassicas, which you will have seen me planting out. I've got a little bit of slug damage on these, but nothing too terrible. I've got the dwarf green curly kale. I've got my swede, and the variety is best of all. And then I've got my cabbage, and the variety of cabbage is Verona red, and they're looking great. And then at the other end of the bed are my squash, and I've got my mini butternut and the Yukiki kiri. And again, they're looking really healthy. And then under this netting I've got my beetroot, some leek, some more beetroot, and across on that side, in amongst the Californian poppies, which are abundant again this year, I've got some shallots. And then alongside the polytunnel here on this side of the path, I've got my potato buckets. I've got some teddy bear sunflowers. Now the 4 in this pot are looking okay, the 4 in this pot are looking okay, but unfortunately there were 4 in this pot and they've been decimated by the slugs. But you know, 2 out of 3 pots ain't bad. I've then got some tomatoes in here. I don't actually know what variety these are. They were volunteer plants, and I thought, you know what, I'll just bring the tub outside and they can do their thing. And then just in this end bucket here, I think this may be a raspberry or a blackberry, but a thornless variety. And it came to me from my mum-in-law some time ago. I need to do something with it. It didn't fruit last year, so it's part of it's dead. I need to chop it back hard, repot it, and maybe it'll have a chance next season. And of course we're already starting to get harvest, so I've got some more rhubarb in today, and I've just picked a little handful of these strawberries to show you, but there's so many more on the plant. So let's show you these beautiful, beautiful strawberries. They are just absolutely delicious. So sweet. And I think I've kept you guys guessing long enough with the colour of the shed. So well done to any of you that guessed it was yellow, but I suspect none of you did. Maybe one of you, and forgive me, I can't remember, so put a comment below if it was you. Yellow. I decided to go for cheerful yellow with accents of charcoal grey, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am with it. So let's go around and look at the little window and the window box as well, because I'm so thrilled with it. So you can see, as I say, I'm just delighted. I've got my geraniums. Thank you so much again, Jane and Mike, for bringing me some geraniums. So I've got some in the little window box there. You can also see I've got my two. You can just see one of them on my brackets there, and I'm just delighted with it. And eagle eyes of you may also have noticed that I also decided to paint the furniture to match. And don't these nasturtiums just look lovely set against that pale yellow? What a complete transformation from that dark, dingy, orangey kind of colour that the shed was before. It really sets things off. And they've gone over now, but these poppies, they were like a dark purple colour, and they popped out against the yellow of the shed. So let's go into the polytunnel. So either side of the polytunnel door, I've got these little pansies. They're going over a little, but they've been ever so pretty, and I might just find some more bedding plants to pop in there for a little bit of colour. But let's get inside. And everything is just thriving in here. It's been super hot, but I've got my fan. I've actually moved it. I usually have it in the door that you're sitting in at the moment, but I find because I'm coming in and out of that door most of the time, it's actually more convenient to pop it over here. So that's my solar powered fan. A few people have asked about the fan. It runs off a solar panel, so it costs absolutely nothing, and it really does help to keep the airflow going, so to help prevent disease, and also it just helps to stop the polytunnel from really getting too hot. So let's have a look around and see how everything's doing. So starting in no particular order, these are, I've ended up with more tomatoes than I know what to do with, and these were given to me by one of Jane, the lovely Jane Kelly's lovely plot neighbours. Alan, he gave me these tomatoes when I was visiting Jane and Mike, and I didn't have the heart to say no, so I've popped them in here because I didn't have anything else going on. I'm not sure what variety they are. I think they're a bush type. I'll see what they develop into. I think they might be Roma. And then the beans. So these are the Madeira Maroon, and you can see they're really coming along now, climbing up, and it won't be long before we're abundant, I hope, with beans. And on the other side here, these are also Madeira Maroon, next to my beautiful wind chime. And then not doing as well, but getting there, are the Bellotto, but the ones that always yomp away and give me such joy are the Gigantes. Look at them. Oh my goodness. They're definitely winning the race at the moment. And then you can also see now, last time I was filming in here for you, I said that all the hanging baskets were empty, and they are now all, in fact, full. So all the baskets in here, I've got something in them, different types of flower. So I've got some nasturtium, and I've got some fried eggplant, or is it poached eggplant? It's poached eggplant, and various other bits and bobs, which should all start to flower soon. And some of them are already flowering, like these nasturtium. And then this big long bed here, I've got some Mizuna. The peppermint chard is coming along beautifully. This is Land American cress. These are the romaine lettuce. Then I've got a little bit of a gap, and then I've got some baby rocket, which I've not long put in there from a pot, and my parsnips, and everything's looking great. Then if we move across to this pot, my peas. So despite muddling them up, they're looking fantastic. So in here we have got Danny's Kent Blue, and it's really easy to differentiate now between the two because the Kent Blue have had lovely blue flowers and they're still starting to produce, but I have seen a couple of flowers. And then these are my alderman, and I can see why Jane recommended them and why others have recommended them, because they're like super peas. Look at the size of these leaves compared to the leaves of the others. And then behind the peas I've got some sweet peppers, and they're coming along okay. I think something's had a little munch on those. As they get bigger I will move them on so they've got more space. Behind the Bellotto, I've got some dwarf variety of beans. Now I did lose a couple of plants, they just keeled over and died, as they do. But what I've got here are one plant of lima beans, and these are dwarf tender and green. But I'm planning to sow some more beans, so when the onions come up, the beans can go in, and they will be a dwarf variety again. And then in this bed, I've got my carrots, and interspersed are red spring onion, and they're getting really close to being harvested. And here on the staging, I've got a selection of wildflowers that are coming on a little bit slower than I would have liked, but they are coming, and they are plug plants, so I'll be getting those into the wildflower meadow. My asparagus, look at my asparagus, it's coming on a treat, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 asparagus plants, all grown from seed. And then down here, this is some mustard, which is predominantly for Victor the tortoise. He likes not only the leaves, but I've let it flower because he loves those yellow flowers. He thinks they're super tasty. Well, the sun's just gone behind a cloud, but it's actually quite welcome because it's really hot in this polytunnel. So here at this end of the polytunnel, I've got these herbs here. So this is bolting a little bit. This is the coriander. It's not doing brilliantly. It doesn't like the really hot weather. The basil, however, does like hot weather, and it's coming along really, really well. This is dill, which isn't too bad. I've had a few snippings off that. Again, it is trying to bolt. And then here I've got my parsley, and it's looking absolutely great. And then we've got the tomatoes. So here I've got the one that I can never pronounce, which is the Grishovka, and that's looking really good. And then this is another Roma. These are the midnight snacks, and I'm really looking forward to those. So I believe that the Grishovka is like a pinky flesh, and these midnight snacks are a beautiful, rich, dark colour, and I'm really quite excited about those. And then if we move along, I've got some cucumbers here, and they're looking pretty healthy. I can't remember what variety they are. Let's have a little look. At Market More. So they're the cucumbers. And then I've got another tomato in this corner, which is Latar. Then I've got some leek here in this bucket. And here I've got my courgette, and it's Denise a fruit ronde, and they're those lovely little round courgettes. And I'm really proud of myself because this year I sowed 1 courgette seed, I got 1 courgette plant, and here it is. Because I think that 1 courgette plant is more than enough for 1 household. And then hopefully you can just see me here behind the obelisk and the netting. These sweet peas, again, I've popped a little string up, and they're starting to climb now. The strawberries in the strawberry bed, this end of the bed, are the younger plants, and the more established ones are over on the other side, and they're doing absolutely great, and I'm already starting to harvest, as you saw, and eat those. And then the raspberries, I mean, they're actually busting out of the raspberry netted area, but there's plenty that are safely behind that net to keep the pigeons and the birds off. But they're looking absolutely great, and I'm already starting to see some little fruits. These are the autumn fruiting variety, but they're coming, and I'm hoping that this year we're going to have an absolute glut, so fingers crossed.